In this problem, I need to use the half-angle formulas to find the exact value of the trigonometric function tangent of negative pi over 12. So, when we are working with a half-angle formula for tangent, we've got a few different options, and I decided to go with sine theta over 1 plus cosine theta. Could choose one of the other options, and that's totally fine. We know that our angle, negative pi over 12, is in the fourth quadrant, so we do know that our answer has to be a negative, and that does eliminate choice A here. But let's go on. Now I've got negative pi over 12. I need to find out negative pi over 12 is half of what angle. And so if you have any troubles finding that, you can simply set up the equation negative pi over 12 equals theta over 2 and solve for theta. And this gives me theta is negative pi over 6. So that's the theta we'll work with in this problem. So now when I use this formula, tangent of theta over 2 equals sine theta over the quantity 1 plus cosine theta. Now I know I just need to find sine of negative theta over 6 over 1 plus cosine of negative pi over 6. So what is the sine of negative pi over 6? I'll draw my unit circle. Negative pi over 6 is going to be about here. And this is a square root of 3 over 2, comma, negative 1/2. So sine is negative 1/2. And in the denominator, we have 1 plus cosine of negative pi over 6. So that's going to be 1 plus square root of 3 over 2. And now I'll multiply both the numerator and the denominator by 2, and that will eliminate that mini fraction within the problem. And so I have negative 1 over, distribute the 2, and I get 2 plus the square root of 3. Okay, now I need to rationalize this because this doesn't match up with any of my choices. So that's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to come off to the side here and say if I have a negative 1 over 2 plus the square root of 3, and I multiply by the conjugate 2 minus the square root of 3, 2 minus the square root of 3. Then in the numerator I get a negative 2 and a plus square root of 3. And in the denominator I get 4 minus, and square root of 3 times the square root of 3 is 3. Denominator is 1, so it's negative 2, plus the square root of 3. Final answer, hopefully on there. Yep, it's choice D. There you go. That's how you do that problem.